Hi, Jennifer. So, my stance in this debate is that tech usage in early childhood should be purposeful, limited, and high quality to support overall development. And I thought it was interesting listening to all of your points because I do agree with a lot of them. But I also thought it was interesting that we do have very similar sources to support our arguments, and it was just that I looked at it in a different light than you did. The first one being that I do agree that tech should be used thoughtfully and it should be purposeful. In the case of the the Reggiano Amelia reading, which was on the use of digital media, I also kind of mentioned the idea of the ladybug activity that they did with Photoshop and how it was mentioned that it was a hands-on activity at first and then it turned into this. I don't believe that hands-on activities should be replaced. I feel like in this specific case, it was super meaningful and worth the time, and the tech had a meaning, and it really made their imagination come to life in a way that the hands-on materials wasn't going to be able to do. So I feel like in that case it was meaningful, but I feel like a lot of times tech is overused and it's not as purposeful as this stance, and we need to be careful as educators, and if in the case of a parent, that we're not exposing kids to too much too soon. This then leads me into my second argument, which again does line up with yours, that I do believe that these activities, when we're doing tech, it should be balanced, and that kids do need to learn how to use tech through experience. But I know you mentioned that there should be no restrictions, but I think you need to have restrictions on tech, especially at such a young age. And kids should definitely not be exposed to certain types of media before a certain age. And in my source from Rago, it mentioned that high quality media, according to the National Health and Safety Performance Standard Guidelines for Early Childhood Care Education Programs, all of their stuff should be free of ads, violence, and sounds that tempt children to overuse the product. And I feel like this is super important to mention because tech can have such an addiction, and even now in my life I can see myself, addicted to the scrolling, the doom scrolling, and kids have even less control over that at that age in their life. So to make sure that they're not experiencing it in that way is super important for their overall development.